And I asking the people, try get Kebaka's Baptiste, get Major Sinclair Lickett into power and everybody into power. We do one, when we go, we win by 2 votes. You vote them. When they go and try something, we got too much a vote to go against them. People, this is the last thing I'm going and see. And I'm going and talk it to the MP of the NDP and the caretaker. I'll you come out and do house to house. It's a very important campaign, house to house. You meet the people them in the road, they take it. You meet them in the road, campaign. Anyway, meet them campaign, come out now, and house to house. Then we could get government into power. If you don't work, you cannot get the government into power. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. God bless you.
To transform this land, anywhere you go, people love this man. When you walk in the street,
Yes,
and they come,
let's hear it for our brother Ned.
shake his hand,
And he's made
a decent man.
some very important points. But I want to hold on to the one. When he came back and he see what's happening to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and his beloved land, he said, no, no, no. He cannot support that group anymore. He could have stayed there and reap whatever little benefit for himself while the rest of the country continued to suffer. And he says, no, no, no. And that is the message we have to say, no more. Take a knee off the neck of Vincentians, take a knee off the neck of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We need to breathe. We need a new life. We need hope. And the message must be clear. The young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines must feel confident. Finally, the message is that there is hope for the people, hope for the young people, chance of a new life of jobs as they move forward. Not just fat, party, and handout, but meaningful jobs, meaningful opportunity for you to blossom, to fly like eagles as we move forward. We have a young man, West St. George. When we had our meetings before, made some very good contribution, excellent. And we'll continue tonight, and I will invite to speak to us Romal John as a young person, importantly, as a young person, and he will speak from his heart. Welcome, Romal.
Who we want is Friday, who we love is Friday, all over the land, yeah. Friday is the man. Saturday, Sunday, Friday.
A pleasant good night, and also welcome me back to the platform as we come willing and ready to move forward to get into office to perform as government. Good night to my Western George constituency. As I bring greetings tonight and bringing and adjusting the issues that we as young people is facing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the main issues is jobs, loss of hope, no opportunity. When we look towards our future, we're not seeing a brighter future ahead of us. And the New Democratic Party is the party who will come forward and make our hope and future brighter. Kebakas is our new era representative, and that is our main focus in Western George, to make sure get her into office, to make sure that she come to get the work done that wasn't done before. And I know Senator Kebakas come with that right attitude, with that willingness to sacrifice herself to come and work with us in Western George. And so far, she are doing a tremendous job. She touches many hearts. She reach out for many people, and she concerned about the issue that we're facing in Western George constituency. Now, I want to touch base on couple areas in Western George being neglectful under this current government. I'm talking about sites that foreigners visit from year to year. We call our beachfront, Villa Beach, Indian Bay, Enid Bay. All these bay being neglectful without a proper walkway and proper facilities to accommodate people who visit St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm talking about tourists who visit from all over the hemisphere, come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, come for quietness, relaxedness, and even a safe journey as they visit our island. Crossing a boardwalk towards Villa Beach. Now you welcoming tourists with a bad road. Don't have proper walkway so that the guests could get to come and set their feet on to get on Villa Beach to have a comfortable day. We need government that will perform, that will see work to be done on our site to make sure that our visitors, and not only our visitors, but we as Vincentian to feel comfortable to get around and utilize. We're looking at the government over the years who have not given us equal opportunities, provide job for us to build our future, to make our future bright ahead of us, where we could go out and feel independent as an individual to support ourselves and even to contribute in our household. That is how we want to be, not to be relying on a handout, not to be in handing bribery. We need to be independent, working hard, supporting our family, and starting to put our future in place for us. And when we look around, we have lost hope because we're looking for strong leadership that will able to stay a ship true, that will able to bring bright future for us, the next future generation to take over. That is what we need in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have lack of jobs, no opportunity. I look at the agriculture as a bright future for a lot of young people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I look at where we can be exporting, where we can get deeply in farmer, involve ourselves, to give us ourselves a job, to make ourselves independent, to big up others, and even to create jobs for others in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are looking at farmers being suffering the consequences over the past years in agriculture. We have looked at the years gone by where things used to be bright, where a lot of bananas used to be up and running, and now where it is now, down to the ground. We need to pull back St. Vincent and Grenadines in the way it used to be. So my people, I want you to put all of that into consideration as you visit the polling station. What are you going to elect a new government for? For changes, for work, for a thing to be done to make our future brighter in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is what we want. I know a government will not able to employ everyone, but what I'm simply saying is divert opportunity, put things in place that we could even get to benefit from to gain an income. That's all it matters for we as young people. And I'm looking at young entrepreneurs in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have a lot of growth ideas, but need the help, need the finance, need an institution that will invest in us, to uplift us, to see that our business is going. We're looking at where jobs need to be created in our constituency. You don't have to be handing out jobs to one set of persons and leaving the other abundantly. No, that is not proper governance. You have to make sure that everybody's supposed to come and eat a food. Everybody's supposed to come and benefit from the government. The New Democratic Party have a lot in store for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, making their future brighter, creating jobs, creating opportunity to uplift ourselves. And as I mentioned Friday, our New Democratic leader. He is a man who will stand up for this country. He is a man who will walk hand in hand and make sure to see St. Vincent back up and running. Now, our Senator, Kebakas, she come to work with us. She not come to eat a food, but she come to make sure that she perform her duty when she get in office next general election. And I assure that the people of Western George will accommodate Senator Kebakas as the next senator, the next area representative in Western George. She come to get the work done, not to be laying back in office, not coming out in fields to see what's going on in her constituency. She already coming forward as our new area representative and been doing tremendously well in her constituency. And I know when she gets in office that she will come and walk hand in hand with the people of Western George. We look at some of the roads in Western George in a bad condition under this current government. These is things that she have, and also building a portfolio to make sure that when she gets in office, all of these issues will be addressed and work and everything will be up. That is the kind of energy we need. That is the kind of government we need. That is what we need in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, my people. And she start to brag and boast about the things she have in store to offer when she gets in there in the next general election. She mentioned about how she could bring up the youth in terms of expanding the sporting facilities by a sport museum, by adding additional stuff to make sure that we're fully equipped and well occupied in Western George. That is the kind of leadership that we need in Western George. That is the kind of leadership we need in St. Vincent of the Grenadines. We need a government that will come and make our lives better. That's what matters. And we are the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, are the government. And it's time for us to come out and vote for a change and get someone in office who will come and get the work done for us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We need a government that will hear our cry and perform duty when they're in office. We need a government that will listen to the people concerned and address it. That is what we need in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I know, and I will hold Dr. Friday accountable, that when he gets in there, that we will make sure that the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines get jobs, opportunity, and that they will be able to spread their wings and reach far. And I assure you, my people, when you go out to the polling station, make that vote towards the New Democratic Party. Bring that change to your life. Make a brighter future, not just for you, but for your children and your grandchildren to come. That's the message from me in Western George. Thank you.
When you hear about testimony, and sometimes after the testimony, supposed to ask all those who want to come forward. And most of the time, the whole congregation, crusade, whatever, move forward. After we hear Romal as a young man speaking tonight, all the youths in St. Vincent and Grenadines must come forward. Must realize that the New Democratic Party under Dr. Friday will move this country forward. And here we talk about Sister K in Western George, glowing colors. She don't come in just to eat the food, coming to look after the young people and the people generally in Western George. And the message is clear. And Romal, I'm going to remind you of something. I'm going to play something for you and the rest young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
One thing,
listen
just
to it
to remind you that,
and hear the message and remember when the time comes that this gentleman, I'm using the word gentleman, will keep his promise along with K, along with the major and the others.
one thing, just to remind you that
All right? So we'll get that, don't worry. as we talk about the youths and we continue to speak about the youths and the development, and we have people like Romal, we have other persons, young, energetic persons coming forward to be a part of this new Democratic Party. You say young like the major, younger than the major. Coming forward with vigor, with energy. There's a particular young man, causing waves throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent and Grenadines, and especially in East Kingston. In East Kingston, you have the persons, the other guy, who will go down in history as never won a seat. He would not have the opportunity this round. And I'm speaking but no other than Fitzgerald Bramble, popularly known as Fitz. You ready for me? All right. So I'm going to give you this, and then after we'll hear from Fitz.
I would be obsessed in government, every day looking for opportunities to create work for people. It would be my last thing on my mind before I go to bed and the first thing in the morning. And I would task every single one of my ministers to say, this is what you have to do first and foremost. Look for opportunities for our local business people. Find work. Do things in tourism. Do things in agriculture. Do things in fishing. Do things in information technology, in construction, whatever. Give our people preference and make opportunities for them. That would be our obsession.
So an obsession with creating jobs. Obsession with creating jobs. Listen.
So what we would do, I would be obsessed in government, every day looking for opportunities to create work for people. It would be my last thing on my mind before I go to bed and the first thing in the morning. And I would task every single one of my ministers to say, this is what you have to do first and foremost. Look for opportunities for our local business people. Find work. Do things in tourism. Do things in agriculture. Do things in fishing. Do things in information technology, in construction, whatever. Give our people preference and make opportunities for them. That would be our obsession.
So as Romal said, Sister K, obsessed with creating opportunities and jobs. The major, today, I passed a mango tree. I couldn't see the color of the ground because of the amount of mangoes under that tree. Wasting. No, not stops. Wasting. Central. So the idea is that we have to have the opportunities to create employment for the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And as I was saying to you, in East Kingston, enough respect, as they say, to the Honorable Arnhem Eustace. And he has passed the baton on, or he has passed the ball, let me put it that way, to a young, energetic sportsman and a man who has the pulse of East Kingston and the young people at heart. We're going to hear tonight again from Brother Fitzgerald Bramble as he brings to you a message tonight.
Greetings to the wonderful people of the constituency of West St. George. Special greeting to my colleague candidate, Sister K. Bacchus-Batiste. And greetings as well, special greetings to the lovely, wonderful people of the constituency of East Kingston. And greetings to all Vincentians. I have known Sister K. Bacchus-Batiste for a long time. We have been friends, and I am very, very happy and delighted that we are members of the same team, Team NDP. Sister K. Bacchus-Batiste is known for service, representation, and leadership. That's been her mantra all her life. And that is very important because at this point in time, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is at a crossroads. Very many challenges are confronting us, and we need strong and steady leadership to take our country in a direction that can meet these challenges head on and tackle these challenges effectively. Our current economic situation says a lot. We are the worst economy in the OECS. We have a youth unemployment rate of 46%. That's almost 1 out of every 2 young person is without a job. And that tells you that our current administration is not performing the way it should perform. Then a new Democratic Party government will provide the leadership, that steadiness that the country needs at this point in time. We have to turn our country around. We have to turn our country around. And one of the most important ways of doing that is by creating jobs. We have to create jobs for our people, particularly our young people, so that our economy can grow, so that people can enjoy a better quality of life. How do we create jobs? There's so many avenues, so many ways in which we can create jobs, so many opportunities to put our young people to work. We have to diversify our agriculture, diversify tourism. Digitization and technology are also very, very important in creating jobs. We have to support and engage our private sector as well. Businesses have to be supported. A few months ago, I was talking to one of the top businessmen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and he said to me, he said, Fitz, I have been in business for over 27, almost 30 years. And this is the worst I have ever experienced in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a business person. And that is totally unacceptable. In our country, the government should be providing support, creating the environment to build a strong private sector, to build strong businesses so they can drive the economy. Government doesn't have to provide all the jobs. We also have to utilize and engage our NGOs, our community-based organizations. Those are the kinds of partnerships we have to build in order to take our country forward. We have to make our young people more employable. It doesn't make sense giving young people scholarships and when they come back home they don't have a job because whatever they went away and studied is not usable in St. Vincent and the Grenadines based on the demands and needs and future plans for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that is something that we also have to address. And I'm asking you to give Team NDP the opportunity to provide that leadership and to turn our country around and move our country forward. I am asking you to vote for Sister Kebaka's Baptiste in West St. George. Vote for Fitz Bramble as the candidate, the NDP candidate in East Kingston. Vote for the NDP as the new government for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because in order for us to move forward effectively, we have to aim for one people, one nation, one Vinci. That is the only way we're going to be able to handle and tackle and address and fight and meet these challenges effectively. We all have to come together. And Team NDP is the best team to do that. It's your voice. It's your choice. Choose Sister Kebaka's Baptiste as your next representative in West St. George. Choose Fitzgerald Bramble as your next representative in East Kingston. And choose the NDP as the next government for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
For 14 years.
get rid of them. We must get rid of them. The choice is clear now. I said sometimes it's a choice between good over evil. Good over evil. We want a better life in St. Vincent and Grenadines. It's we time. Let me put it that way. It is time enough now. And I have to use this phrase because the other guy say he will eat a food. It is time enough now. The ordinary people, the majority of people in St. Vincent and Grenadines eat a food. Let me put it that way. We can't be satisfied. Over the years we eaten scrums. And I know Major and others that say slice up the cake. So everybody gets sliced. We want the whole cake. We've been eating scrum. Everybody in St. Vincent and Grenadines, we don't want to slice the cake. We want the whole cake now. It's time enough. Overdue. The people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Listen, this is about us, you know. This election, sorry to say, is not just about the New Democratic Party. It is about the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's about young people like Romal who want proper job, who educate themselves. Up to today, I met somebody complaining if I know of any jobs. They will want work, but they do not want to go by no politician door to knock and beg. They want meaningful employment. They want opportunities to create wealth for themselves. Why one set of people must live happy when the majority suffering? 20 years, you know. That's a whole generation as far as I'm concerned, of which we continue and they continue to feast and better themselves. It is time now, and I say this, you know, use the New Democratic Party, use the New Democratic Party, use Dr. Friday and all the others to get a better life for yourself. Put them there because the plans and progress that will come under the New Democratic Party. Just now people in St. Kitts who laughing when December come because they're getting double salary. When they text you and say, boy, we get double salary again, say, well, we getting ours now too. When they text you and say, we getting tax, reduce and VAT, say, you let Dr. Friday don't reduce VAT long time. We're going to be able to compete with a smile on our face because we know life is going to get better. Life is going to get better. And I have to disagree with Major to some extent. He says same day. I say when you leave the polling station, life done better already. Because you feel happy. Because you know the stress. You know the stress gone. You're ready to celebrate. You know life is going to be better for the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines. And the young people, you don't have to go and beg nobody again. Opportunities are there. You want a scholarship, you do like everybody else, you apply. You go to an organization or a board and they say you don't have to go up in no backyard or no office or nothing. You want a job, same thing, you apply. You know, merit. And those of you in positions, Dr. Friday said, once you're doing the right thing, you have no fear. You have no fear because the New Democratic Party will not be about victimization. It will not be about victimization. You performing as a civil servant, you performing as a police, as a teacher, go to the polls, vote for the change. Vote so that you could breathe. Vote that if you don't like something on the job, you could speak out and say, well, you know, I don't like this. If you have a policy you want to bring forward, you could speak to it. You don't have to look behind to see who carrying news, get somebody, so you could lose your job. Or somebody say, well, make no sense you apply. Make no sense you apply. It hurt me, you know. When I see people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines I remember this never left me. I think it was Vermont when a lady said she ain't about to apply because she's NDP. She knows she ain't going to get the work. And another one say, but she's supposed to get the work because she is ULP. Come on, Vincent, we have to change that. You get the work because you are Vincentian and you qualify for the work. Plain and simple. But in order for that to come true, you have to go to the polls, you have to get registered. Go to the poll and poll in there. Cry the whole family, cry the neighbor, everybody, go and vote. In West St. George, Sister Kebak is. Vote for her. Vote all of the NDP candidates. Put Dr. Friday there. You hear what he say? He obsessed with creating jobs. While the other guys going sleep wondering who to cost tomorrow, Dr. Friday going sleep wondering how many jobs he can create tomorrow. While the guy in West St. George want to fill his belly, Kebakas Bati say, I cook in a pot for everybody. Sharp difference, eh? Sharp difference, sharp difference in the two parties, in the policies of the two parties. We're going to bring to you tonight very dynamic, energetic, all of the description you want to put, you can put to him. Former teacher of mine taught me accounts. And my situation is unique, you know. I start doing accounts in Farm 5. So I doing Farm 5 accounts, and I had to go down in the Farm 4 and do Farm 4 accounts to catch up with the Farm 5. Same teacher, I made it. You think it's credit to the teacher? Yeah, man, some credit to the teacher. Some credit to the teacher. In Central Kingston, anytime the other guys hear this name, they're frightened. Put your hands together and welcome the major. Come forward. Come down.
Father, I know things are going wrong, yeah. It's wickeder than before. But really checks that we could have run things.
Enough music. Brothers and sisters of Western George, wonderful people of Central Kingstown, most beautiful people, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and as per usual, our diaspora. As the elected representative for Central Kingstown, and I want to stress that, Central Kingstown, because I believe when you are in Parliament representing Central Kingstown, it gives you some sense of authority to speak on national issues, because after all, it's our capital. And it means you have been weighed and found to be worthy of representation of the people's business. I say that because I want that translate to my message with respect to the candidate I'm supporting here tonight. Kay, the lady who is here to stay. This is an important exercise for those of us in the leadership of the party. It is even more so important exercise for those of us who are now elected members of the parliament. Daniel, Pato, Nature, Terence, Anim, Dr. Friday. I hope I left out none. Maybe I left out myself, but all of us are there. It's important because every one of us has taken it on board that the best way we can support our leader, Dr. Friday, is by ensuring that, as Arnhem says repeatedly, that we bring more of our caretakers under the tent as elected members. And Ben, I'm glad to see you here tonight as well, lending support to your sister in that regard. I want to spend, therefore,
much of my time on the importance of the West St. George constituency in helping the New Democratic Party to form government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I do that by way, even though partially, of referring to the progressive program that the representative or that person representing the New Democratic Party has in store for you, the people of Western George. But I do so also by taking time out to make some contrast to what we in the New Democratic Party and your leader, Dr. Friday in the New Democratic Party, are offering you as against what obtains on the other side. And I'm comfortable in my own skin as some of my other colleagues, many of my other colleagues. We don't have to make ourselves look good by making others look bad. But you have to pardon us when we speak the truth. And we love to speak the truth. In national life, and more so in political life, we all have our highs and we have our lows. In other words, we have our proud moments when we feel we have peaked as a consequence of our investments and of our performance. And because we are all imperfect beings, sometimes we drop our heads, drop our chin, when, notwithstanding our best efforts, we do not harvest that which we thought we had planted. We didn't get the outcomes that we thought we desired. The gentleman offered himself in Western George. I take no pleasure of having to say anything negative about him because I've had good relationship with him all the year. I believe he got where he got by dint of hard work. But it makes me question why so many of our professional people, so many who see the truth that when it comes to crunch time and decision time, have to compromise their better judgments and walk a path that they know is not in the best interest of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In this particular case, it creates great difficulty for me. You can't today say to me you are the head of a trade union movement, and the next day you are in total agreement that the worst period in the life of trade unionism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been over the last 20 years. You can't say that. You can't acknowledge that unionism has died under the leadership of one whom you want to support. You have to ask yourself certain questions. You cannot say that you support the importance of youth and development and look around and see during your tenure of the man you want to support, the word youth, more so the national youth movement, died not a natural death, but was castrated by the very leadership that you're holding up today. It has to pain you to watch that the people who you rub shoulders with, endorsed, supported, emulated, projected in Otto Sam and Bash and Elvis Daniel and Johnson, teachers like yourself, thought your word of your leader was good and lost their job, lost their livelihood, lost their future, watched their family's life deteriorate because of the duplicitous nature and the anti-democratic practices of the person you are galvanizing behind. You have to be ashamed ashamed of yourself if you witness over your period that the very unions you endorse, the teachers' union, must go to the court for justice. The public service union must go to the court for justice. Where is Labor Day today? You started with a handful of people, disappeared over time, and you stand behind that. How do you do that? Sports. You value yourself as a sportsman. You watch its decline, and you can only write historically about the glory days, and you're a historian. How do you justify that? How you can justify in a culture of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that the party that you say is cannot over 20 years when the illegals reply that they're admitting today they cannot find one good young woman to come forward. That's their words, not mine. You stand behind that? You stand behind 1 out of every 2 young persons in St. Vincent and the Grenadines having a job, nearly half of St. Vincent unemployed. You stand in support of that? Do you think through carefully the ideological flip-flop and inconsistency of the programs of the party? If you listen to them today, you would believe that they have always been pro-business. But they're the ones who have fought tooth and nail to get rid of the Graves, the Veras, the Bonadies, and to project the state. Today they're telling you about crime and the importance of business and of our business culture. But we always knew that. We're in the New Democratic Party. And you find it every page of a New Democratic Party. All that we do. Because we understand countries only develop and go forward when the individuals in that society go forward. You've got to do a check of yourself. Look around the membership of the party that you're joining and ask questions. Why come? How come that a Rene Baptiste couldn't stay along to emerge in the leadership? How come a Mike Brown couldn't stay around to be in the leadership? How come? Why come a Borgen couldn't stay around to be in the leadership? How come you have a political party that systematically gets rid of anybody who could challenge the leadership, but yet you can circumvent, you can navigate, manipulate, that the only person who could be a replacement for the current leader is the bloodline of the party leader? You only see that in Cuba, Venezuela, and North Korea. You subscribe to that too. Tell me as a youth in the grammar school, tell me as a youth on the playing fields, that it was common practice that every weekend, every newspaper, high crime, violence of every time, should be front page, back and center, and editorial. And you support that? Where are the plans for the jobs? What have we seen in the 18 years coming out of Western George under ULP leadership that has shown us that that party understood the value of agriculture in Western George, capitalized on the sport and prowess of the people of Western George, and catapulted that constituency, the people, forward? Where have they made use of the natural resources? Your spa water, your beautiful topography for tourism. Where's the evidence? Do you look us straight in the eyes and say, life has got better for the people of Western George? No! I heard a man say earlier tonight that the very building, the Doris Mackey Center, even the representative couldn't have the decency to make sure that paint is on it because it carries the name of his mother. If you don't respect yourself, you expect people to respect others? You have to answer those questions. You have been in the grammar school as a principal. The physical state and condition of the grammar school is probably worse than any other secondary school in this country. Untilled floors. Still chalkboards in 2020. Ben, you know we should have gone way past that. Where's the forward thinking? Where's the forward march? What are you advancing? And then you go to a constituency, and the things you are proposing, you sound more like the opposition than the opposition. Do you hang your head in shame? Do you go into welcome and see the state of the roads? Do you go, what do you call it now? Georgie Valley? Well, we used to say, God, just like up New Montrose have renamed themselves, the people have pride to change it to Georgie Valley. I'm going with the valley, but you know what I'm talking about. People have to walk out with a luggage in the hands from welcome to the main road to get a ride. You comfortable with that after 20 years? In the very constituency of the Minister of Finance, 3, 4, 5 months, we don't know how much, before next general elections. It is in the worst condition in the living history of a constituency. And you'll come the last week and the last month and win the dress and tell people that represents good governance. Look at the problems and the indecency. Look at the trouble that your leadership is creating for St. Vincent. The bad name in Grenada, in Guyana, and in the neighborhoods. And then truthfully, my brother, truthfully, come forward and say to us, how do you really intend to turn this country around? I mean, it's amazing. Yes, the New Democratic Party endorses Prime meaning a program for youth and micro-entrepreneurs. We always did there. Dr. Friday who organized a seminar and workshop to promote those people. We have no problem with you borrowing our ideas, but if you're going to borrow it properly. You said you have loaned out $1.2 million during this current period. You really believe $1 million will turn around the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? You for real? Do you listen to the news? Do you understand people who understand basic economics when they speak about a stimulus? That they mean now, the present, and the future? Do you understand fundamentals as we do in the New Democratic Party, as Representative K does in the New Democratic Party, that to propel the constituency forward, that you have to obey certain important principles? K endorses the notion of a constituency development fund. A fund will impose her that when she goes through and she sees the back walls and the drains and the footpaths and people health problems, educational problems, social issues, that there has been a budget for her to, as a leader in her own right, make on-the-spot decision to the proper protocols of the governmental system and get it done. Your leader doesn't support that. None of your colleagues supports it. In fact, none of you have the balls to stand up and disagree with them on anything at all. You join that? You join that? The word labor not even in... look, you bastardize the word labor, man. That's not what labor was meant to be. In sharp contrast, we present to Western George someone without beating her chest, who has stood on her record of service, a champion for human rights enshrined in our Constitution. That's why it pains her when in her private capacity or as a parliamentarian, she sits in a house that your side of the house says cannot bring a vote of no confidence. That makes us uniquely unique as the only country in the Commonwealth where you can't recall a government or express dissatisfaction for a government. Do you remember that the current leadership of St. Kitts came here for rescue? When your very leader would not open his mouth as he's doing now in other people's business to see that democracy reigns in St. Kitts. Have you come to grips with yourself that in the same loudness and firmness that you speak about Black Lives Matter in the United States of America, that lives also matter in Venezuela, where millions of people have had to be disrupted. Where were the voices? You stand behind that. K has been a champion for constitutionalism, a champion for democracy, a champion for culture. And it's a long time she has been watching her dance movements, not by chance. One who has represented this country nationally and she's been able to come forward. Look at the way, the decency, the dignity, the pride, the competence she brings to the parliament when she stands and challenges. Kay can land on her feet tomorrow as an attorney general in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the country will be better for it. Trained a long, long time before your current leader can wrap him up, as I might say, and sell him in the face of law. Don't test her. But Kay is not a standalone candidate. None of us in the Democratic Party stand alone. We first of all have the embrace and broad shoulders of our current leader. But even more important, we are proud of the historical and institutional capacity of the New Democratic Party. 40 plus years of Mitchell, Eustace, and now Friday. Compare that to where you are and what you're supporting. Your current party say you're 25 years old. You couldn't even wait for the death of some of your important contributors before you disassociate yourself from Labour. What do you stand for? Kay will speak for herself. And we will speak with her. And we'll stand by her. The New Democratic Party says that in this election, we are the transformational party. We're not coming with 2 dry coconut and a slice of pumpkin for a vote. We're not exchanging, you call it love box. I still can't get a name for it, but I know that's not love. We understand fully that this New Democratic Party is the modern day David of politics. We understand that we are coming up to the hundreds of millions that were voted for you to cut our own throat. But we did it because we love St. Vincent and the Grenadines and we placed their interests before us. We understand that this is the time to be on the right side of history. We understand that this is the time that real change and sustainable change can come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As Dr. Friday says, the best days for the New Democratic Party are ahead of us. My brother and friend, and I haven't called your name for the night, but you know who you are. Game over. You still have time to change your mind. Good night. God bless you. Love you all.
Yes, that's it again for the major. Yeah. Strong message. Strong message. I'm going to summarize it, you know. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. That's all I'm going to say. You must examine yourself and know. Just give way to K now. Just give way to K. Just give way to K. Because West St. George need a change. St. Vincent and the Grenadines need a change. And guess what? You will still get food, you know. You will still get the food because the New Democratic Party will ensure that everybody in St. Vincent and Grenadines get the food. So have no fear. Step aside. K will ensure you get the food. Because you from West St. George, and she going to look out for all the people of West St. George. Even you who made that mistake. Major and the others touch on sports, they touch on agriculture, they touch on youth development. So I could pick any of those areas to introduce or to bring to you the next speaker. When it comes to agriculture, right up in there. It comes to sports development, field preparation, soil, right there again. If you have problems in your house, and you have to pay for this ad, if you have a problem in your house with bat and thing, you're in that field too. You know all about these things. A very powerful speaker and a strong support, they say, behind every successful woman is a successful man, or a strong man. Wanted to put your hands together and welcome. Don't know if it's half. I know it is. I ain't gonna say that. Put your hands together and welcome Brother Sheriff Baptiste.
Thank you very much, but I want to borrow this from the sailor guy, Travis Harry, and say good night to the fabulous people of West St. George. Good night to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, those in the diaspora, and those of you who have the benefit to see us extra live here at Democrat House tonight. Let me also say a pleasant good night to the officers of the New Democratic Party, President Dr. Friday, Six-Star General Major Sinclair Leacock, Patel Matthews, Honorable Chairman Daniel Cummins, General Secretary Tyrone James, PRO Lavon King, and I see the Treasurer, Mr. Horace Williams. Again, good night. I am here tonight for 3 reasons. I am here tonight as a loyal and committed general of the New Democratic Party. I am also here tonight in support of Dr. Friday as the political leader of the New Democratic Party as the next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And also, I don't know if I should say my wife, but I will say Senator Kay Bacchus as candidate for the constituency of West St. George. Brothers and sisters, yesterday we went out into the constituency after a long break because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we made some visits. The people always embrace, says our candidate. And we went by this lady. And she said, Miss Bacchus, you know how long I want to see you? She said, I really miss you. She said, you would not believe. And this is a lady, I must tell you, who used to be a real strong supporter of the other side. And she said, "You would not believe what happened. A gentleman from the other side came to my house because he probably thinks that I am still ULP. He said he pulled out his phone and he said, 'Let me show you this video of the candidate for the NDP in West St. George.' And he played the tape that they're circulating. And he said to her, 'What do you think?' She said, 'But I find she is a beautiful woman.' So I want to say tonight to that person who upload that video, could you please boost it? Could you please boost it again? And also, I think you should be rewarded for your effort because that is very good promotion for our candidate in West St. George. In 2015, I move around this country a lot as a candidate, former candidate for the New Democratic Party. And as I move around this country, a lot of my friends, is on the other side. So every time I have this conversation with them, they're saying, "Shara, boy, all again, licks again." Strong supporters of the ULP. Today, brothers and sisters, these same people, today, they are suffering. Really suffering. They realize that they have made a big, big mistake. I met a lady last week. She has been diagnosed with cancer for 3 months now and can't get an appointment at the hospital. This lady is staring death, or death is staring her in the face, and there's absolutely nothing that she can do about it. Brothers and sisters, our farmers in this country, they are suffering. And they are suffering from a prolonged drought. After this new Democratic Party installed an irrigation system in this country that serviced over 8,000 acres of lands on the northeastern side of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have people suffering in this country since Thomas in 2010, whose houses cannot be repaired up to today, all because they are perceived to be supporters of the New Democratic Party. As Duffy Magnum says, when you feel them things there, you can't hold it. You have to bawl out. You have to bawl out against the wickedness of this ULP government. Brothers and sisters, the only thing that is going to get the New Democratic Party back into government and the Honorable K. Bacchus Baptiste as parliamentary representative for West St. George is for us to unite. For us to set aside the petty differences, because right now nothing else matters. We have a prime minister in this country who is the most cunning and cynical prime minister that this country has ever seen. Anytime there is bad news, he goes silent. He goes silent on the accounts for the AIA. He goes silent on Petrocarib. He goes silent on the geothermal. He goes silent on the cross-country road. He goes silent against rape of our women in this country. Tonight, brothers and sisters, we have to call him out. We must go on Facebook. We must go on Instagram and Twitter. But most importantly, we must go on the ground and connect with the people. Because the people on the ground is where the real power lies. Brothers and sisters, in the constituency of West St. George, I will be here. I will be in that constituency with you. The constituency of West St. George is not a Labour constituency. It is a constituency that was built by Sister Yvonne Francis Gibson and Brother Marcus de Freitas. And we want back with territory. And we coming back with territory. Brothers and sisters, we have a first-class candidate in West St. George. We do not have a backbencher candidate. I want to tell you something. In the ULP, there will be only one king. So if you tell yourself that you're going in there to be a second king, you're telling a lie. Ask Brother Subato Caesar, because he believed what is due unto Caesar must be given unto Caesar, but no way. And you can also ask Jimmy Prince, because there's already a crown prince in the ULP. So I don't know where you're really going. But brothers and sisters, I want for us to get up. I want for us to rise up. I want for us to unite. So brothers and sisters, we have to hit the ground. We must do our canvassing. We must do our enumeration. We must do our house. Oh, yes, we must do our house to house. Because on the day of election, it will be NDP in West St. George. It will be NDP in East Kingston. And there's already NDP in Central Kingston. NDP in the whole of Kingston. NDP in all of the Grenadines. NDP on the leeward side. And NDP on the windward side of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ladies and gentlemen, good night and God bless you.
Let's hear it again for Brother Shearer. Yes. Powerful speaker there. And again, calling on you, go and get registered. Make sure, in order to vote, your name has to be on the voters list. You must get registered. Don't just sit back and say we make any change. You have a part to play also to make that change. You have a part to play. I want to, because when Brother Shea was speaking, let me say good night again. And I'll start. Ladies first, to Piero, Lavon King, our General Secretary. You're working hard tonight. Good night. Well, good night to the Major. You know the Major's up here already, so. Good night, Brother Bruce. Good night, Brother Bruce. I identified where you are, and I know you have the opening of your constituency office on Saturday. On Saturday. In Lauders. And if it's one thing I know about the persons out there, I have to give credit to Patel, don't get me wrong. They go cook a goat out, they go, you know. So I don't know if goat any menu. I know the other guy out there. The other guy out there, animal used to disappear when he was in charge. But we'll see how that go. We want to recognize also, that one say, the whole of Leeward. Whole of Leeward. Ben, good night to you, Brother Ben. Good night, good night. Working hard again. Working hard again. You know, tonight, I'm looking forward to the next speaker. I mentioned goat, and I mentioned cook. So, that's my weakness. When a man say he want to eat a food, and then a beautiful young lady, as the husband say, and it's a fact, say, I want to prepare food, and I want to prepare the opportunity so that everybody in my constituency can eat the food, not one person. I mean, the choice is clear. A history, as the Major pointed out, of struggle for poor people, for the less fortunate. And I'm going to speak out part of her business, you know. She ain't know I know, but I think everybody know. A lady who do a lot of work and don't get paid for it. Don't go by her office tomorrow, you know, and ask for work free. But the point I'm making here is that K. Bacchus Betis is about service first and foremost. Not about eating a food, about service first and foremost. West St. George will be all the better after the next election when they vote for Sister K. Bacchus Betis. Tonight, put your hands together. Put your hands together. Feel the spiritual vibes as we welcome to Jesus, our candidate, Sister K. Bacchus Betis.
I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.
Vincent and the Grenadines. Good night to the people of Western George. Good night to all of you who came out here to support this virtual meeting for Western George. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, plans to give you hope and the future." That is the NDP words for you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the voice of the prophet Jeremiah. Plans to prosper you, plans to give you hope. We bring you a message of hope. This is not lightly said. This is our vow. This is our commitment to you, the NDP's commitment to you. All our speakers tell you, my dear people, we are in this because we care. We hurt when you cannot pay your bills. We hurt when you have no medical proper attention. We hurt when you are oppressed and depressed and fearful. So our message to you tonight, my dear people, you are no longer a slave to fear. No longer a slave to fear. Declare it. Affirm it. Believe it, because your liberation is now. So vote K all the way, my people of Western George. All the way, vote K. To bring you hope. And as I say to you, HOPE. Help our people excel. You know, we had 6 village meetings before the advent of COVID. 6 village meetings, all well attended, great feedback, over 7,000 views on the internet. The first one we had at Gome, the second one at Belair, another one, Bottom Belair, Top Belair, Boom Boom, Polyard, and the final one was in Fairburn Pasture. When COVID came on the scene, I had 3 meetings lined up. One in Dorsetshire Hill, one in Queens Drive, and the other in Arnesville, which we had to vacate because of COVID. So I'm very happy to be greeting you again, my people of Western George. And this time you can enjoy me in the comfort of your homes. You don't have to come out and stand at the roadside. Were it not for COVID, we would have been celebrating the 12th or 13th meeting tonight. But we will get back there. We will get back there. You know, as I walk through the constituency, I usually ask the people I engage, especially the young people, I say, what is it? What is it you want? What do you want to see? What do you want for yourself and your family? Some of them say they feel a sense of despair, a sense of hopelessness, that nobody cares. One young person from Boom Boom said to me, they believe that the youths don't have value and integrity. They must believe that when they think they could only wine and dine and dance them around election time to get a vote. When they think they could take the people's money and buy galvanized and lumber and give them away. But we have values too. What we want is more jobs. A youth said that to me. A youth said that to me. Another one said, you know what I like about you, Miss Bacchus Patisse? They said, We want politicians who can feel the poverty of the people, who can feel their need, not just talk about it. He said, when I listen to you, I understand that you feel our need. You feel it. It is sincere. And I tapped him and I said, yes, my boy, that is absolutely true. I am in this because I care. I believe in one family under God, not a divided family, red hair and yellow there. I believe that we should be all our brothers' keepers. I don't like the divisiveness of this administration. You know, I say they have a campaign of 3 Ds: division, diversion, and divisiveness. Division, diversion, and divisiveness. They have nothing to offer you, my people. How can you explain a government that has been in power for 20 years cannot run on their track record? They have to come and bribe you with money and your own galvanized and lumber and cement. Another youth said to me that he doesn't know, he doesn't understand how he fits into this St. Vincent, as if there is no future for young people, as if only one family matter. And so he lives his life daily, day by day, just existing. You know why? They have destroyed the moral fabric of this society. They get on their radio stations and they vilify, they pull down, they divide, they laugh and keff. Jaja hit them with diseases. We are destroying our people. The NDP says, end of that. We are going to build. We are going to bring jobs. We're going to bring hope to our dear people. One gentleman in Dorsetshire Hill, when myself and my husband, because he goes out with me in all of my campaign trails, and the gentleman said, I said to him, what do you want to see? What do you want to see for this community? And he said, change the government. I said, yes, but what do you want to see? He said, change the government. But tell me what you want. He said, I said, change the government. So I said, why? He said, I used to support them. You remember that, Cheryl? You were there. He said, I used to support them. But today, I have never had it so hard. And he said, what is more, they don't even care. They don't even come and look for me anymore. Only the last time I saw them was last election. Another one said to me, you could tell when election come in. Same Dorsetshire Hill. He said, because every election time, you see they come and they start to do work on the Dorsetshire Hill ball ground. And then after that, nothing happens. My people, your eyes are being opened. Yesterday, going through Queen's Drive, I met a man who is a supporter of theirs, but they probably don't know. Since Thomas, he's popularly known as Ishmael. Since Thomas, his house blew down, half of it destroyed. And to this date, in spite of all the talk of life to lives and giving with lumber and all of that, he cannot get his house fixed. Thomas was what, about 10 years ago? So when they come and tell you that they bring in these cement and galvanizing so to help people, it is just to help themselves. That is all they are interested in, my dear people. Don't be fooled. It is to keep one family there. One family matters. I say no. We in the NDP say no. All families matter. All families matter. We say one love, one Vinci, one nation. And we mean it. Tonight, I learned that there were 2 more cases of COVID. I say this because we seem to forget that we are still living in the time of a pandemic. And I'm urging you, my people, I'm doing what our honorable leader, Dr. Friday, does all the time. Responsible meetings. Because COVID is still with us. Don't forget who led the debate on COVID. Who spearheaded all the responsible decisions? Our very own Dr. Friday. Who urged for when schools should be closed, when ports should be closed. You would remember very well that when we debated the COVID bill in Parliament, the Prime Minister said he's not going to close the ports. Dr. Friday was saying to close the ports. The next day, the very next day, we got a release. Oh, we have to close all the ports except 2 because somebody was disrespectful to somebody on the Coast Guard. Do we believe that? Don't forget what their response was. Open up the borders, lower the airfare, invite the whole of the Eastern Caribbean, the whole of the Caribbean to come into St. Vincent. Irresponsible leadership as compared with our Dr. Friday's responsible leadership. And if he can lead you in a crisis, he can lead you in good times. He can lead you in the good times, and he can lead you in the bad times. We are in the bad times now, but a new dawn is coming, my dear people. A new day is coming in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, when you can wake up and breathe in and out and throw off the shackles that you've been under for the past 20 years. I promise you that no longer would we be a slave to fear. Now, you heard some of the plans that we have for you, people of West St. George. When I go to the community, the first thing I hear, I'm telling you, everywhere I go, the biggest concern for my people of West St. George are the roads. It may sound simple, the roads. Every time they come out their house, they go into the house, they walk. Almost every area in Western Georgia roads are horrible, deplorable. I have tried using my voice in Parliament to get some of those roads fixed, and I cannot claim them. We have had some fixed, but we have a long way to go, a long, long way to go. There's the issue of jobs, providing jobs. I spoke about our plan to bottle the Gome spa water. I really don't understand why that has not been done before. Listen, my people, we are blessed with a natural mineral spring, eternally springing water, and it just flows away, goes to waste. There are a few top brands of mineral water in the world, and I must mention, of course, it's San Pellegrino from the mountains in Italy. Found on the highest priced restaurants and so forth. It's one of my favorite bottled waters, I might say. But I want the time to come when our Gome spa water would be served to kings and queens and princes at high-end restaurants and low-end restaurants. It is, as I said, a healthy water, and there's no reason why it should just run and go to waste. I've spoke many times about our plans for lighting the playing fields. Sport is very important for our young people. You know, just before COVID, I had planned a competitive small goal football match. The response was overwhelming. We were going to offer prizes, cash prizes to first and second and third places, and have a nice little live music and so forth. Unfortunately, I already had spoken to the management of the playing field, the Bel Air playing field, and after a bit of tussle, it was consented. We got the consent that we can use that place. And I'm hoping that maybe sometime there, we might be able to still do that. Have the young men, and you'll be surprised how many young men were ready and willing to do this. But I promise you that as soon as it is feasible, because we have to be careful, we will do that small goal football match. But we want to light our playing fields also. There's no reason why Dorsetshire Hill playing field, and well, Dorsetshire Hill playing field needs so much work. I've been there, and as the young man said, only at election time, some work is done on it. But the Daphne Community Center should be lighted. Lots of events occur there. I mentioned also the Western George Splendid FM. That also should be coming on stream soon. And there are many others, but let me just mention at least the agriculture clinic. We have had 2 free clinics, a legal aid clinic and the medical clinic. We planned an agricultural clinic, but again, COVID intervened, where we're going to show you how to best we're going to distribute seedlings and how to best grow and harvest your backyard gardens. I want to speak a little bit, have my clip for me there. I want to speak a little bit about the RPA, Representation of the People's Act. The NDP is starting something that we're calling Election Watch. Never again they're going to steal another election in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I promise you that. I promise you that, my people. You have the clip? Play the clip.
Fellow Vincentians, welcome to NDP Election Watch number 1, as we bring you highlights of the Representation of the People Act, the RPA. Qualification of voters, Section 4. No person shall vote in more than one constituency. No person shall vote more than once in the same constituency. One should produce an ID card before voting, but he or she can vote without producing an ID card once the presiding officer is satisfied of his or her identity and the person's name is on the list. Offenses and penalties, Section 22. Any person who makes a false claim or statement to be included in the register of votes for a constituency he is not qualified to be so included is guilty of an offense and is liable to a fine of $750 and to imprisonment for 6 months.
Just play one more clip. We are going to do maybe about 15, maybe 20 of these messages. Every Vincentian would know their rights under the RPA. Play one more clip for me.
Fellow Vincentians, welcome to NDP Election Watch number 4, as we bring you highlights of the Representation of the People Act, the RPA. Persons shall remain registered on the list until his name has been deleted from the register because 1. He has died. 2. An objection to his registration has been allowed. 3. He has been out of the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for over 5 years, except he is studying. And 4. He has been disqualified from voting under the law. Section 15 says, the supervisor of election shall make removals from the quarterly list in consequence of any action taken under Section 7 above, and shall publish as soon as possible thereafter the corrected quarterly list. Section 25 says, the supervisor of election shall exercise compliance with all the provisions of the RPA, including Sections 7 and 15, which I just read, and shall execute and perform all other functions conferred and imposed upon her under the Act. It may well be an election offense under Section 40A for her not to comply with these provisions.
My dear people, our electoral list has over 92,000 names on it. Our population is just over 100,000. Only persons above age 18 should be on the list. This list that they think they're going to the polls with for the next election has over 92,000 names. I have in my hand a list of dead persons, hundreds and hundreds of names that are still on the list and that should be removed. I have the name, the area they came from, the address, the date of death, where they are buried, the date of the burial. Full details. On the Section 7, you must remove them from the list if they are dead. I am reminding persons of what is happening right now in Guyana. Hundreds of dead people voted. The government was able to show the death certificates of these people. We have this list. And we are going to ensure that no dead person voted in St. Vincent election. I told you all the penalty. We are going to comb the list. We are going to check the names. Every single man will be on board. The whole 15 candidates and all their party groups. Come and vote in a dead person name. We're going to make sure that no Guyana happen here. I am giving you all our solemn promise, my dear people. Your vote this time will not be in vain. They have to sanitize the list. We brought a member's bill to Parliament to a motion to reform the RPA, primarily to give us an independent electoral commission. We drafted the legislation. We looked at legislation in all the Caribbean islands, including Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua, St. Lucia, with an independent electoral commission. St. Vincent remains where the electoral office is under the purview of the Prime Minister. And there is a tendency every election time to transfer Julian Francis to the election office. They locked out our motion so that we could not debate it. They don't want an independent electoral commission. But I promise the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that we will do everything to make sure you know what is right, You know what is acceptable. You know what the penalties are. So you can't say you didn't know when you try to vote twice. Or if you vote in dead people's names. Or if the ballot paper, well, the ballot paper will not be badly designed this year. I can tell you that because every Vincentian will know what a ballot paper should look like. My dear people, I thank you very much for listening. Listen out for those election watch clips. They're going to be on the radio. They're going to be on Facebook. Educate yourself. Know what the law is. Because we're taking this one home. We're taking it back. People of Western George, K all the way. K all the way. Thank you very much and good night. God bless.
Let's hear it, let's hear it. Sister K. Bacchus Baptiste. Those of you watching us, I know you're going to still give us a clap. We're going to see it still. Don't worry yourself. You know, this election, serious election. You made a point, you know, and what we've seen in Guyana, with the amount of dead people that voted. We're going to ensure in St. Vincent and the Grenadines two things. No dead person going to vote, and no dead person going to vote for no dead person. No dead person going to vote, and no dead person going to vote for no dead person. Because when you can't function, when you're impotent, when you're unable to give off any meaningful contribution to life, you're dead. This Unity Labour Party and the members are all dead. Dead. They have not produced anything of substance lately, except giveaway. Most of the time when somebody dead, they have a little giveaway, you know, they have some giveaway. But that's it. They have nothing else to offer the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines. Come this election, no dead people voting for no dead people. Let's get rid of them. Let's get rid of them. All right? I'm going to bring to you a young man. Okay, younger than me, right? Think so. Very powerful speaker to make sure the stage good and firm. From Central Kingston, a man who would try to put the knee in his neck so he can't talk. But he can still speak today and will continue to speak. And we are saying to that man, can't call him gentleman, take your knee off the neck of Vincentian. Take your knee. We want to breed. The country want to breed. Take your knee off it. Put your hands together and welcome. Eagle Adams.
Got to get rid of them. Time to get rid of them.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Thank you very much, Mr. DJ. Let me say a pleasant good night to our two past leaders of the New Democratic Party,
Sir James and Brother Eustace. And a pleasant good night to our current leader, the one who will be the next Prime Minister, Dr. Godwin Friday. May I also say good night to one of our vice presidents, my own representative from Central Kingston, the Honorable Major Sinclair Leacock, to our General Secretary, Brother Tyrone James, our Public Relations Officer, Sister Lavon King, the next representative for Central Leeward, Brother Ben Exeter. They stole it from him the last time, but they can't make it this time. And obviously, our next representative for South Central Windward, the man who they're cutting loose with, his name is Bruce. And all of the other candidates who are not here tonight, good night, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines and a whole, at home and abroad, let me say a pleasant good night to you. Last week, I took you back in time to show you the way the NDP performed when they were in office the last time. And that is because whenever you are in office as a government, you're supposed to be able to run on your record. The NDP has been out of governance for the past 19 years, but it can still run on its record. It can still be proud of its record in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So when we come to you in 2020 and say vote for the New Democratic Party headed by Dr. Friday, we know what we're talking about. We have a record of performance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we have men and women with a record of performance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in our team. Therefore, they can lead St. Vincent and the Grenadines forward. You know, before I know who was Kay Bacchus, she wasn't married Baptiste that time. I knew about her because of her record. I didn't know her. I knew about her because she had a record, because she had performance, because of her work in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So when we ask you to support her in West Kingston, in West St. George, we are not asking you to support somebody who want to eat a food after they would have spent their whole life in a particular career. She spent her life in a career. She ate many food, and she's still eating food. That's why she looks so good. So now she don't need a food to eat. She have food that she need to give away, so she come in to give food. And by the way, you ever hear of any king in the West? All we know about is queen. So when you come to West St. George, you could only vote for the queen. You can't vote for any king. We ain't know where that king come from. So we need somebody who can run based on the record of performance, somebody who comes to serve, not to be served. Because if you want food, you want to eat the food, mean people have to serve you food. You understand? But Sister Kay, she wants to serve food so that the people of her constituency and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines can eat the food. You know, St. Vincent has really gone backward, you know. And I don't know if people really realize it. My listeners, I don't know if you really realize it. But look at two things. St. Vincent and the Grenadines was the first OECS country to get traffic lights. All the other bigger countries had, but for the OECS, St. Vincent was the first country to get. Go to the Caribbean now. The only country in the Caribbean without traffic lights is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we gone back like about 50 years. Now this is the 24th century. We want to talk about sports. We love cricket in St. Vincent. We have many cricketers came from St. Vincent, play for the West Indies and so on. Look at every country in the Caribbean where cricket is being played. You have a big screen. Look at Annisville, where cricket's supposed to be played. We have none. So when we can't get any games, we wonder why. Don't wonder. We are not up to modern standard. And that is because we are run by a leader who is 1950 thinking and not one who thinks for the 24th century. So it is time that the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines elect a government who has the vision to take this country into the 24th century. I mean, we started the 24th century, but not us in St. Vincent. We're still in the 20th century. We need a government who can really take us into the 24th century. Now, the New Democratic Party has some plans for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You heard of some before. Jobs, 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 and more jobs. Because our young people are suffering because of that. And not only they are suffering, then the adults who sometimes don't even have, they have to take from what they don't have in order to give to some of these young people to save them from getting into activities that are not good for a young person to be involved with. So we need an administration. For the sports-loving people, look for the National Stadium. That will be delivered by the New Democratic Party. Look for the indoor sporting facility. That will be, of course, a real national. No joke thing that you just put down a track. We're talking about a real national stadium. An indoor sporting facility. We will look for those things. We will deliver them as a New Democratic Party because we're interested in the sports of our people. You know, almost all the playing fields in St. Vincent, and I'm talking about Annisville and Victoria Park, almost all the others were developed under NDP. You look at all the playing fields in St. Vincent now. They're run down, except those in the man who called himself Prime Minister's constituency. And then they go leeward the other day, after 11 or 12 years of promise, and put down one to see if they could win the North Leeward constituency. But we're not talking about that kind of sport. We are talking about real sports with a real government who can produce so that the young people can be happy. We are talking about sports tourism. We can develop in the winter. People go to these countries that don't have winter to play football teams and all that kind of stuff, cricket teams to train because they can't do it in the winter. That's sports tourism. What happened to, well, you see, when you're central, you're central. So, all these things St. Vincent and the Grenadines can benefit from, but we are not benefiting now because we have an administration who is not concerned about the well-being of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but they are only concerned about their own well-being. When you come to health, people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it was stolen from you the last time, but this time it will not be stolen from you. We will have a modern state-of-the-art hospital in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And not only that, all of our health clinics will be up and running the way health facilities supposed to be run, because a proper management team will be in place to run the facilities. We don't want a management team that is just headed by a party hacks without the necessary qualification to run that facility. We want people who are properly trained, well qualified in management so that they can run our facilities. My time really is up. I can't go without reminding you. Election coming. Well, I don't think the big man will call election. I'm telling you flat. The election will call him. Because right now, he can't sleep. Every minute he goes sleep, he jumping out of bed Friday. The headache. And he know he going to get licked, so he can't rest. So he going to try everything to go way to the end so that the election will call him and not he call the election. But whenever the election call him, whenever it is announced in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, my people, I'm asking you to go to the polls and you're only looking for one symbol, is the key. You don't even looking for the name of the person. Once you see the key, you're voting next to the key. Because every candidate that is represented by the key is a candidate worthy of your ex and worthy of a position in government to run St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So put your ex next to the key and vote into government, the New Democratic Party, headed by Dr. Godwin Friday. Good night and God bless you. Yes. I have never seen Aigal play any sports. I ain't say he don't play any sports. I have never seen him play, but hey no, the way this man does bat, I don't know if he want to go England with the West Indies team because they're really batting good. So again, when the bell an election is called, give your support to K. Bacchus Baptiste, West St. George, put Dr. Friday and the New Democratic Party into governance. And I'm going to make an appeal. I want a good writer. I have a novel for you to write. There is a book, a history book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. I am challenging somebody how the ULP and Dr. Gonsalves underdeveloped St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So Brother Bruce can write a chapter. How the ULP underdeveloped St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This Saturday, we heading out Lauders. We having Brother Bruce, the opening of his constituency office. We cutting loose in South Central with Israel Bruce. So don't forget, Saturday, we heading out to Lauders for the opening. Let me thank all the persons who view, those who listen to my radio, all the speakers. Remember, the symbol is the key. The candidate, Sister K. Bacchus Baptiste, the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Dr. Friday. And you know, I had made a challenge in the last meeting, you know. Look on Sunday and make the comparison. Oh boy, what a shame. Dr. Friday was pure class compared to the other guy. Let me just leave it at the other guy. Because I know. So let me thank all for this meeting tonight. We're supposed to sing the doxology. We can't sing too well. So I gotta have to come up with the distance. Somebody
All right. So we just close. Thank you all for viewing. Thank you all the best. Remember, symbol is the key. The party is the New Democratic Party. Have a safe and good night.
Anywhere you go, people love this man.